Hello, fellow nerds. It has been a while since I last read to you. I have been very ill again, and for a couple of days I couldn't talk at all. And today's my first attempt to read, hopefully without my voice cracking. So this is going to be a short one, just to let you know that I haven't forgotten about you. So let's have a look at the monster manual again, shall we? And I think, in the spirit of October, which is a very important festive month in the US with Halloween coming up, let's learn something about ghosts. A ghost is the soul of a once living creature bound to haunt a specific location, creature, or object that held significance to it in its life. A ghost yearns to complete some unresolved task from its life. It might seek to avenge its own death, fulfill an oath, or relay a message to a loved one. A ghost might not realize that it has died and continue the everyday routine of its life. Others are driven by wickedness or spite, as with a ghost that refuses to rest until every member of a certain family or organization is dead. The surest way to rid an area of a ghost is to resolve its unfinished business. A ghost can be destroyed more easily by invoking a weakness tied to its former life. The ghost of a person tortured to death might be killed again by the implements of that torture. The ghost of a gardener might become more vulnerable when exposed to a potent floral fragrance. Sensations of profound sadness, loneliness, and unfulfilled yearning emanate from places where ghostly hauntings occur. Strange sounds or unnatural silences create an unsettling atmosphere. Cold spots settle in rooms that have roaring fires. A choking stench might seep into the area. Inanimate objects might move of their own accord, and corpses might rise from the grave. The ghost has no control over these manifestations. They simply occur. A ghost doesn't require air, food, drink, or sleep. Obviously, because it's dead. Moving on to the stat block. A ghost is a medium undead creature of any alignment. Its armor class is 11, and it has 45 or 10d8 hit points. Its walking speed is 0, but its flying speed is 40 feet. It has 7 points in strength with a modifier of -2, 13 points in dexterity with a modifier of +1, 10 points in constitution, and 10 points in intelligence, each with a modifier of 0. It has 12 points in wisdom with a modifier of +1 and 17 points in charisma with a modifier of +3. It has resistance to acid, fire, lightning, thunder, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical weapons. It is immune to cold, necrotic, and poison damage. It is also immune against being charmed, against exhaustion, being frightened, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, being prone or restrained. It has 60 feet dark vision and a passive perception of 11. It knows any languages it knew in life. A ghost has a challenge rating of 4, and you would gain 1,100 experience points should you defeat it. Ethereal sight. The ghost can see 60 feet into the ethereal plane when it is on the material plane, and vice versa. Incorporeal movement. The ghost can move through other creatures and objects as if they were difficult terrain. It takes 5 or 1d10 force damage if it ends its turn inside an object. Actions. Withering touch. Melee weapon attack plus 5 to hit with a reach of 5 feet, one target only. On a hit, it deals 17 or 4d6 plus 3 necrotic damage. Etherealness. The ghost enters the ethereal plane from the material plane or vice versa. It is visible on the material plane while it is in the border ethereal and vice versa, yet it can't affect or be affected by anything on the other plane. Horrifying visage. Each non-undead creature within 60 feet of the ghost that can see it must succeed on a DC 13 wisdom saving throw or be frightened for 1 minute. If the save fails by 5 or more, the target also ages 1d4 times 10 years. A frightened target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the frightened condition on itself on a success. If a target saving throw is successful or the effect ends for it, the target is immune to this ghost's horrifying visage for the next 24 hours. The aging effect can be reversed with a greater restoration spell, but only within 24 hours of occurring. Well, that was interesting. I didn't know about the aging thing. And I'm pretty sure I prepared ghosts for the Curse of Strahd campaign. Well, maybe they are different ghosts. Moving on. Possession. One humanoid that the ghost can see within 5 feet of it must succeed on a DC 13 Charisma saving throw or be possessed by the ghost. The ghost then disappears and the target is incapacitated and loses control of its body. The ghost now controls the body but doesn't deprive the target of awareness. The ghost can't be targeted by any attack, spell, or other effect, except once that turn undead, and it retains its alignment, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, and immunity to being charmed and frightened. It otherwise uses the possessed target statistics, but doesn't gain access to the target's knowledge, class features, or proficiencies. The possession lasts until the body drops to 0 hit points. The ghost ends it as a bonus action, or the ghost is turned or forced out by an effect, like the Dispel Evil and Good spell. When the possession ends, the ghost reappears in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the body. The target is immune to this ghost's possession for 24 hours, after succeeding on the saving throw or after the possession ends. The next monster is a ghoul, also fitting for today's theme. So let's have a look at ghouls. Ghouls roam the night in packs, driven by an insatiable hunger for humanoid flesh. Like maggots or carrion beetles, ghouls thrive in places rank with decay and death. A ghoul haunts a place where it can gorge on dead flesh and decomposing organs. When it can't feed on the dead, it pursues living creatures and attempts to make corpses of them. Though they gain no nourishment from the corpses they devour, ghouls are driven by an unending hunger that compels them to consume. A ghoul's undead flesh never rots, and this monster can persist in a crypt or tomb for untold ages without feeding. Ghouls trace their origins to the abyss. Doricine, the first of their kind, was an elf worshipper of Orcus. Turning against his own people, he feasted on humanoid flesh to honor the demon prince of undeath. As a reward for his service, Orcus transformed Doricine into the first ghoul. Doricine served Orcus faithfully in the abyss, creating ghouls from the demon lord's other servants, until an incursion by Yen-Nogu, the demonic Gnoll lord, robbed Doricine of his abyssal domain. When Orcus would not intervene on his behalf, Doricine turned to the elf gods for salvation, and they took pity on him and helped him escape certain destruction. Since then, elves have been immune to the ghoul's paralytic touch. Orcus sometimes infuses a ghoul with a stronger dose of abyssal energy, making a ghast. Whereas ghouls are little more than savage beasts, a ghast is cunning and can inspire a pack of ghouls to follow its commands. Now there are two stat blocks, one for the ghoul and one for the ghast. Let's start with the ghoul. A ghoul is a medium undead with a chaotic evil alignment. Its armor class is a 12 and it has 22 or 5d8 hit points, and it has a speed of 30 feet, and I guess that means walking speed, although it doesn't specify. It has 13 points in strength with a modifier of +1, 15 points in dexterity with a modifier of +2, 10 points in constitution with a modifier of 0, 7 points in intelligence, and that's a modifier of -2, 10 points in wisdom with a modifier of 0, and 6 points in charisma with a modifier of -2. It is immune to poison damage. It is also immune against being charmed, exhausted, and poisoned. It has 60 feet dark vision and a passive perception of 10. It knows only common. Its challenge rating is a 1, and you would get 200 XP for defeating it. Actions: Bite, melee weapon attack, +2 to hit with a reach of 5 feet, one creature only. On a hit, it deals 9 or 2d6 +2 piercing damage. Claws, melee weapon attack, +4 to hit with a reach of 5 feet, one target. On a hit, it deals 7 or 2d4 +2 slashing damage. If the target is a creature other than an elf or undead, it must succeed on a DC 10 Constitution saving throw or be paralyzed for 1 minute. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. And lastly, the ghast, which is also a medium undead with a chaotic evil alignment. Its armor class is a 13, and it has 36 or 88 hit points and a walking speed of 30 feet. It has 16 points in strength with a modifier of +3, 17 points in dexterity with a modifier of +3, 10 points in constitution with a modifier of 0, 11 points in intelligence with a modifier of 0, another 10 points in wisdom with a modifier of 0, and finally 8 points in charisma with a modifier of -1. The ghast is resistant against necrotic damage and immune against poison damage. It is also immune against being charmed, exhausted, and poisoned. It has 60 feet dark vision and a passive perception of 10. It knows common. The ghast has a challenge rating of 2, and you get 450 XP for defeating it. Stench. Any creature that starts its turn within 5 feet of the ghast must succeed on a DC 10 Constitution saving throw or be poisoned until the start of its next turn. On a successful saving throw, the creature is immune to the ghast's stench for 24 hours. Turning Defiance. The ghast and any ghouls within 30 feet of it have advantage on saving throws against effects that turn undead. Actions. Bite. Melee weapon attack, +3 to hit, with a reach of 5 feet, one creature only. On a hit, it deals 12 or 2d8 +3 piercing damage. Claws. Melee weapon attack, +5 to hit with a reach of 5 feet, one target only. On a hit, it deals 10 or 2d6 +3 slashing damage. If the target is a creature other than an undead, it must succeed on a DC 10 Constitution saving throw or be paralyzed for 1 minute. The target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. So much for ghosts, ghouls, and ghasts. I hope you enjoyed this rather short video. I hope you found it relaxing as always. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you were inspired to use one of these monsters in your campaign. Or maybe you're prepared in case you encounter one of these monsters as a player. Anyway, thank you very much for spending your time with me. Have a good night or a good day, whichever applies to you. And see you again next time. Bye bye, fellow nerds.